So first off, what are closed captions? Well, you've probably seen them like on TVs. You can turn them on or off, and it's usually like white text on a black background, and it's the what's being spoken or sung.
Turn it up a little bit, Daddy.
Goes along with the
Sorry,
video.
I'm muted now.
Okay, no worries. So this is opposed to open captions, which open captions, you do not have the option to turn them on or off. They are just burnt into the video, and it's whereas like closed captions are like a separate sort of like data that your maybe your TV is like displaying. The open captions are just, they're in the video. You can't turn them off or on, you know. So I think in most situations, closed captions are preferred because you have that flexibility, and maybe if you have poor vision, you can increase the size of the subtitles, that sort of thing. It offers more flexibility. But anyway, let's get into the process here. I'll start to share my screen. Okay, so for these videos, I requested the sheet music, which helps because then I can make sure 100% I'm writing the correct, words that are being sung. So first thing I did, I would open these up, and I'd start to write a script alongside them. Just basically, as I was doing this, I was thinking like, how do I want to, well, basically you don't want any one line to get too long, because then it's kind of like, will the person be able to read it fast enough? Will it take up too much of the screen? That sort of thing. So you want to think like about logically where to break up long sentences, for example. Maybe if it's a sentence with like multiple clauses, you break it up, after a comma or something. And also, usually I listen to the audio at least once or twice while I'm writing the script, and you can usually tell like, oh, they pause there, or oh, they have a certain cadence there where it makes sense to break up the sentence to a new line, maybe. So yeah, this is just kind of what the script looked like for this video. So once I had that done, so for these projects, sorry, my cat just meowed. I used a program called Aegisub. And what I would do is after I finish writing the script, you just do Control-A, select everything, copy, and then paste it into here. Now you can see every line now has its own line in here. And
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Was this a paid software or?
No, it's free and open source.
Okay, nice.
So now what we want to do is load the video that goes along with the script. Now I've got a few different versions here. In this case, I actually, because the piano accompaniment was a separate file, I exported a version without the piano accompaniment, because then it's much easier to match up the waveforms because you don't have like the piano going in the background. So we'll just be focusing on the singers and their voices. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear audio. I guess I'll play back a little bit and see. Are you guys hearing anything right now?
I am not.
Okay.
Now, when you do a screen share, did you check the share with computer audio?
No, because I didn't join with audio. So maybe I would
So
need to do that.
cancel out of the screen share, reinitiate a screen share, and when you're doing that and it's asking you which window you want to share, there should be a small checkbox at the bottom that says share with computer audio, and that'll allow us to hear what you're hearing in theory.
Okay. Yeah, let me see here. So share screen, share computer sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's try this. So I'm going to start playing it back again.
Where Emmeline, living with her parents, has just met Matthew.
Okay, sweet. So this is just her spoken introduction, but let's go ahead and skip to the singing part. Okay, so it starts about here. Okay, so I'm going to start playing, and let's see. Move these out of the way. So over here on the right side is the audio. This very beginning is her intro, so I'm just going to move forward here. Okay, so this is about where the singing starts. But let's go ahead and play that back.
Matthew, Matthew, if you love me, Matthew.
Okay, so as you can see, I split this into 2 lines here. So we've got, oh, and by the way, this is, what you're doing here is just selecting the bit, the first line, basically, and I'm just doing left click and drag. So we know she starts about here. Let me go ahead and play that back.
Matthew, Matthew, if Matthew, Matthew.
So yeah, when she goes if, she kind of spikes up here. So Matthew, Matthew is only going to be about there. Okay, so now that we've got that isolated, what I like to do is also check. You can play the like half a second before and half a second after your selection. Kind of helps you isolate, oh, did I grab too much like empty space, you know, or dead air before, or did I grab too much of the next line? So you can kind of check it that way. No, that's good.
If you...
Yeah, so immediately after she goes into If You Love Me. Okay.
Does this allow you to compress or expand the waveforms so that you can be more detailed in how you time
Oh, yeah, it's right here.
Right
it's a control scroll wheel.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And then this little thing down here moves the timeline. But yeah, okay, so we've got Matthew isolated here. So I'm going to go ahead and commit that by clicking this checkbox or hitting enter. Okay, and now it's automatically moving us on to the next line. If you love me, Matthew. So let's play that back.
If you love me, Matthew, come.
Okay.
If you love me, Matthew.
Okay, so yeah, right about there. So we want to hit that. And as you can see,
Back.
we're just, you know.
What?
Love me, Matthew, come back. If you love me, Matthew, come back.
Okay, so yeah, I grabbed a little too much.
That's cool.
So yeah, now we've got the first 3 lines, or first 4 lines actually done. But as you can see in the feed here, it is super tiny. So we'll want to adjust the styling.
Oh,
so
cool.
What you do is I've just hit Control A to select all, and I'm hitting the Edit button. And this is going to give you your options for styling the captions. So obviously, let's go ahead and put that up to like 60, and then change it to the font we use for their intro and outro cards. Let's see that.
Can you upload different fonts to this?
Oh, I mean, it's just using your system fonts. So any fonts you have on your computer, it'll pull. Yeah. You can change the size of the outline or give it a large shadow, colors, change the opacity, all sorts of stuff. So yeah. Oh, and also changing the alignment if you need something in a different part of the screen. So I already had a preset set up for Tulsa Opera. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that now. And here you can see this is the styling we used for their videos.
Oh, that's cool.
So let's go ahead and just start back at the beginning, right about here. And I'll play back so you can see the first 4 lines here.
Matthew, Matthew, if you love me, Matthew, come back. If you love me, Matthew, come back.
Okay, so yeah, that's basically the process. When you have done the entire script and have everything timed, it'll look like this, basically. Everything here you'll see has a start and end time. And yeah, at this point, what I do is so this this program, it saves as a .ass file type, but for YouTube, what you'll want to do is export in a different format. YouTube likes SRT, so we're gonna go ahead and export as SRT. I'm just gonna call it Love Duet, save it there. Okay, so now we've got this separate SRT file. What you do is you go into your YouTube dashboard, you click on subtitles here in the sidebar, and you go to your video. Now, by default, YouTube will automatically generate these subtitles, which are very good. So let's go ahead and add ours. Under English, okay, and then we click Add. And then here, the very first option, upload a file. Takes a minute. Okay, there we go. So now it has two options. You've got the transcript, which we've already taken care of, and we've got the subtitles file. That's the one we want. So we go ahead and browse over to that file. And here we go, the SRT file. Open and upload. Okay, yeah, and
Oh, how cool.
it looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save changes on that.
Wow.
Okay, so now you can see we have the automatic subtitles and then the ones we just uploaded. Let's go ahead and go back here.
I take it the automatic subtitles are a lot like Google Translate.
Well, I mean, you know, Google does their best. I think they do a pretty good job of catching a lot of it, but like for singing especially,
Okay.
probably not.
Okay.
Singing is probably, yeah, probably gonna be touchy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just delete the automatic subtitles because by default, I want it to always load our subtitles because I know they're accurate. Okay. Go ahead and refresh that. Okay, so let's go watch the video. And we'll skip ahead to the singing. Okay. You've got this closed captions enabled down here.
Matthew, Matthew, if you love me, Matthew, come back. If you love me, Matthew, come back.
And as you can see, the subtitles are playing. This is YouTube's default formatting. So YouTube, when you export as SRT, here I can show you. Let's see, SRT. Yeah. So if you open the SRT in like a text editing software, let me see actually. I want to use another app. Give me, yeah, Sublime. The SRT file basically just contains timestamps and then the line. It doesn't have any sort of, it doesn't retain the formatting that we set up in here, like with the nice Avenir typeface and all. But that's okay because, you know, YouTube also has its own options. I know you can change, like, you can make the subtitles bigger or maybe change the color and stuff. So yeah, that is basically how you add subtitles to a YouTube video. Now, if you needed to turn these closed captions into open captions, in other words, if you needed to actually burn them into the video, one way you can do that is download a program called Handbrake. It is just, it's a encoding software. You go ahead and paste your video into there. And I'm not going to touch any of these options because they're fine. 1080p, 30 frames per second is totally fine. But we are going to go over here to subtitles. We're going to go to import. Cool thing about Handbrake is that you can use .ass files. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. And then you just click burn in, and then you hit start encode, and it will start generating your new file that will have the subtitles burnt in, basically meaning if you open up your file, it will look exactly like this, but there will be no subtitle track. It will just be a part of the video, basically.
I have a question.
So yeah, go for it.
So this is really neat software that you found, and the process in particular, I think, is very cool. So awesome job. Thank you very much for teaching
Thanks.
on it. I have a question related to streamlining this over time. I know we had to very quickly come up with this solution based on immediate need, but I am looking at a series of articles on whether or not there are options in Premiere, since that's the editing software that we use. I know you've already explored some stuff. However, I just found that there is an actual captioning tool in Premiere. Have you used that tool?
Well,
and it looks kind of similar in that it has a timeline and all of the other things that you were showing me in the program. I was just curious if you've looked at it. I'll send you the article real quick.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I have used the caption window in Premiere. I did not actually like time the subs or write the subs in Premiere, but I basically imported the SRT into Premiere, and then I basically all I had to do was make sure the very first line started at the right point in the time.
Right.
And then I tried to style it, but Premiere's styling options are kind of clunky, and it didn't seem to work sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I was just curious. Yeah, just something to look into in the future.
Yeah. Oh, and I just remembered one other thing I didn't mention. Let me go ahead and share my screen again really quick. There have been a few situations where we had, I started subtitling and then we made changes to the video, so that changed the runtime and the timing, obviously. Like for example, if we wanted to switch to a version of the video that only had the performance, it didn't have the spoken intro, we would need to retime the subtitles. So what I can do is, so here I've got the same subtitle file open for the full video, but I'm going to go ahead and open the performance only version here. So as you can see, it just goes straight to the performance. If I look here at the waveform, so she probably starts singing, around here-ish. The bit before is just the piano. So yeah, around like 19 seconds. Yeah, about when she starts singing. And you can see here on the old video is about 48 seconds. So what we can do is go up here to timing, shift times. And as you can see, I already had some, this is just showing your edit history basically, but what I'm gonna go ahead and do is clear that. Let's see, let's shift it forward by about 30 seconds. Oh wait, no, actually backward by about 30 seconds. Okay, that gets us to 18, and then forward by about that much. Okay, so now we're at about the right start time down here, about 1938. So let's go ahead and test that out. And it's because of the options here, it affected all rows and it affected all start and end times. So we don't have to change anything else. It should just automatically work here. So let's go ahead and play back one more time.
Matthew, Matthew, if you love me, Matthew.
Yep, and it is now retimed. So now we can resave this and export it for this version of the video. So yeah, that's been my process.
Cool, thank you. Question, did you build the script in a Word document or a text document and then you just pasted that in?
Oh yeah, yeah. I just typed it up in Microsoft Word and
Oh,
then I
wow.
pasted it in.
And it'll read the line breaks as new time codes. Really?
Yeah.
So Caleb,
What?
I would use Mac Notes in our case,
Okay.
just because the Microsoft Word application on a Mac can do weird things to text and import like smart quotes and other
Oh,
weird
fun.
things. So Notes strips most of that formatting down to its
Okay.
most basic.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
Does anyone else have questions?
Can you provide a link to the software that you're
Oh yeah,
using?
sure.
Yes.
Sub. Okay, I'll go ahead and post that in, let's see, I guess in education.